Like I was saying, nature's wrath can be scary, and a combination of natural and man-made disaster even scarier. Time now for the stranger things. What do you make of this? Well, if you watch the movie E.T., you will be able to immediately draw a parallel. But what you see on your screen is not a prototype from Steven Spielberg's movie. One self-proclaimed UFO researcher claims that these are the remains of aliens. His name is Jaime Maussan, and earlier this week, he appeared in front of Mexican lawmakers, and with him were remains of what he claimed were two non-human corpses. And from where did Mr. Maussan get these ancient bodies? He says the remains were retrieved from Peru in 2017, and he said they could be 1,800 years old. The National Autonomous University of Mexico conducted tests on these specimens. Jaime Maussan claims that the researchers found that 30% of the DNA was unknown, but these researchers have distanced themselves from his claims. Nothing's proven. A question mark will pop up in your head the moment you take into account Jaime Maussan's history. He has a really interesting history. He has been a media favorite and is often spotted on TV screens presenting his so-called findings. One of the findings included what he called an alien body excavated from Peru's Nazca. Experts later said the body was of a human child with a head deformity. In the past, he's also presented photos of so-called alien ships, but again, without any real evidence. What actually happened in front of the parliament did lead to what appears to be some embarrassment for the Mexican government. And other scientists and experts said that they were embarrassed also by what happened, including, by the way, some of those who's been calling for a probe on aliens and on UFOs. Remember Ryan Graves? We spoke about him a few weeks ago. Ryan Graves is a former pilot in the US Navy. He's been accusing the US government of hiding UFOs, of hiding alien bodies. Graves has testified before the US Congress. But contrary to what one would have assumed, Graves did not welcome what happened in the Mexican parliament and what Jaime Maussan did. Instead, he criticized him. Graves is calling the whole thing, quote, an unsubstantiated stunt. So if it is really a stunt, then it might, in other words, be weakening those who are asking for a probe, who are asking for investigations, and who are saying people need to keep an open mind on the question of UFOs and on the possibility of alien bodies. And that, I think, is why Graves was so upset by this. Because if somebody is actually out there asking for a probe and saying, we need to take this thing seriously, the last thing you need is what Graves called a stunt or a hoax or something that makes the whole thing seem like a circus instead of something that needs to be looked at particularly scientifically. And by the way, that is something that we've now heard from NASA as well when it was asked about what happened in Mexican Parliament. And NASA is now turning its attention to all of this. Everyone today is talking about aliens and ET and UFOs, and NASA has now added to that conversation. America's space agency has released a UFO report. It is part of a study that was commissioned following reports of UFO sightings by Graves and other pilots. So what exactly does this report say? I'm quoting here. The report says, there is no reason to conclude that the existing UAP reports have an extraterrestrial source, unquote. UAP here stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. Basically UFOs are now called UAPs. So what this report is essentially saying is that UFOs do not equal aliens, or do not necessarily equal aliens, or that no such evidence has been found so far. But does that mean that aliens do not exist? Well, the NASA chief, Bill Nelson, says he personally believes that aliens or extraterrestrial life does exist.
If you ask me, do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes.
Look, it'll be interesting to see how this story shapes out in the coming days and months and years, because when it comes to that question which I'm asking, aliens or hoax, but in this particular case, almost certainly a hoax. That image that you see out here almost certainly is a hoax, is not an alien. But because that's a hoax doesn't mean you should not take the possibility of UFOs or UAPs or extraterrestrial life seriously. And that essentially is what NASA is saying. It's what serious scientists are also saying out there. We need to investigate this. We need to do serious science around this. It is possible that extraterrestrial life will be found at some point. If it is found, it will be one of the most momentous days in human history. And frankly, if this is really a stunt, then it doesn't help the cause of science. So those who are tempted in putting stunts forward need to be discouraged. But science should be pushed forward, and an open mind should be kept on some of the biggest and the most profound questions that are before us. Because who knows, the genuine and the real answers may end us surprising us. But whatever happens, all I can tell you is we will keep you posted on all of this.